And good evening, everyone. Welcome. I'm Jean, and this is Captain Stitches. And with me, I have Danielle of Donnell's Stitchery. And of course, it's Wednesday night. So this is the mini series, Hand Quilting Step by Step, where myself, Jean, teaches Danielle to hand quilt. And this is, excuse me, part three, which is the final episode of this mini series. So we will just be doing a quick recap, a wrap up, and a question and answer session this evening. So let me see who is with us in the chat this evening. We have Vicky. Welcome, Vicky. You were the early bird in there early this evening. And June Hansen is with us. Good evening to you. Judy Hebert is here. She says, hope everyone is doing good after the bad weather yesterday. Yes, it did not get us. So we are doing well. Thank you, Judy. And Tracy is here. Good evening. And I believe that is it that is in there right now. Carol Rousseau just popped in. Welcome to you. Thank you all for joining us this evening. And Danielle, would you like to introduce yourself and say whatever it is you'd like to say about yourself and your channel and what you do before we get started this evening?
Sure. So my name is Donnell, and I'm with Donnell Stitchery. I have my own channel, and over there I go live every Saturday and Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Saturdays, I just do quilting or crafts or whatever involving some sort of stitching. Sundays and Saturdays is also usually when I have a guest on with me. My Sundays is a little bit more structured as that's the day where I usually do my foundation paper piecing as well as my puzzle mystery quilt as I'm doing the Tree of Life, the purple mist colors, which is absolutely gorgeous, by the way, let me just tell you.
It is.
And thank you, Mama Jean. And then I actually just started a new recorded series where every Wednesday around lunchtime, I'm dropping a video of a my own version of a sampler quilt where I am doing a tutorial of a different block each week. And it is going to be, I'm going to be doing this to create a probably about lap size quilt, maybe a little bit bigger. Not really for sure the size yet because I'm designing it as I go. And up here, I actually have two of the blocks I've already done. I have the little bit slightly messed up snowball version. The cornerstone should have been 2.5, not 3. And then I have the snail trail that I did, that I just released today.
Awesome.
But other than that, that's about it.
Awesome. So make sure that those of you that haven't and don't already know Danielle, that you go over and check out her channel. I don't know if you can put in the chat. Um,
Yep, I'm
your
actually one
link
of your
by putting
moderators, so
exclamation point selfie, and we'll drop that in there. And while you were giving that little introduction, we had Michelle with Michelle's Crafts and More pop in with us, and Andrea. Welcome, Andrea. And Terry Amston just popped in also, so welcome to you all. Oh, and somebody named Danielle Stitchery is down there right now
wonder
too.
who that could have been.
But oh, I was going to say, and some guy called Nightbot just popped up there also. But there is Danielle's link to her channel for any of you that may not already know her. I think all of you do so far, but that is there for anyone popping in, and we will remind them of that. And it'll also be in the description box after the live is over. But this is, as I said, part three in the series that we have been doing on hand quilting and teaching Danielle to quilt, which it all came about by her asking me if I would help her learn how to hand quilt. And so we were kind of talking about it and everything and discussed, well, since it didn't be on Zoom, we might as well stream it live for anybody else that might be interested. And that's how this came about. So I hope those of you that have been joining us the past couple weeks, it's actually been 3 because we did have to cancel the one due to somebody, ending up some odd way behind that long arm, I think, back there, but we won't
Ain't
get in.
gonna say no names.
We won't recap that part of it, but anyway, so you can see over here the sampler that we have been working on throughout this series, and that is what you end up with when you are, I don't know why I'm picking it up. You can see it better from there, but lift it so you can see the whole entire thing there. And I'll put it back down here, and I will in a little bit I will zoom into that better so you can see that better. But that is the 4 sections that we started off on the very first evening with showing how you would mark your quilt top. And Jim Pollock has also joined us, and Teresa Lynch while I've been talking. Welcome, welcome. It's great to see you. But Danielle, let's talk about the marking of the quilt top. What were your thoughts on that? And
So for the marking, I actually found it super easy to do and very helpful, especially with the part that you had told me to make sure I do it nice and lightly, because I have noticed that on some of the parts where I was a little heavy on the hand with the pencil, that I actually can still see the markings underneath my stitches. And I'm like,
you
okay, I'm
did
like,
use
well,
the sew line. You did use the sew line though, right?
I actually used just a drawing pencil
Oh, okay.
because I didn't have my sew line handy. So I used a drawing pencil.
It hopefully won't, well, I don't know if you'll be washing it, but if you were to wash it, it should wash out. It might be a little harder, but the thing to keep in mind is if you use either the bone or the sew line, those will wash out. So
Yeah, I figured worst case scenario, this is just my sampler one. So for me to learn off of. So it's not something I'm stressing too much over, but it is something for me to know for sure before I go to mark on a quilt itself to do.
say something again, or did you just stop talking?
I just quit talking.
Okay. I wasn't sure whether it was your sound messed up there or not because it was just an abrupt boom. Okay.
No,
That's
my
all right.
brain just shut down for a second.
I understand. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that we still had you on sound. But and then the next thing that we did after marking, of course, and if there's any questions that any of you have along the way while I am, while we are recapping this and see, how Danielle felt, throughout the process and what her likes and dislikes were and that type of thing, and any questions that she has or comments along the way, be sure that you are more than welcome to pop in any questions that you have, and we will also, do our best to answer and take care of all of those also. But so we got all the marking done, and I know it was done a little quickly, because of the doing it live and everything. But then after that, the next part was layering it and pinning it with the safety pins. Now I know one comment you're going to have, and that is, of course, for you it wasn't that easy to open and close the safety pins, correct?
Then plus I also had a little bit of difficulty with like on some areas of getting once I got the safety pin through the top 3 layers to get it to come back up so I could rehook it closed. So I
Yeah.
had and I'm kind of thinking maybe the pins might be too maybe a wrong type of fabric or wrong batting, or
No,
pins might be too big, or
the thing on that is just learning how to position your hands so you can push it up with your, finger underneath. It's getting used to it. It's practice and everything. But I did find my quick clip that I couldn't find that evening that I said I looked for it, couldn't find it. It wasn't where it was supposed to be. It was in the drawer that it was supposed to be. We won't go into the full details of why I couldn't find it in that drawer, but I did find it. And if you are having problems with your safety pins, there's three little grooves on the end of this.
Hi, Melody.
I'm going to hold it.
Hey, Lisa.
I don't know if you can see them better on that view or not. If you can see the grooves on the end of
Yep.
that, there you can. As my hand shakes. Whoa. Okay. But it's called a doopy doopy doopy. Where's the camera on this one? This way. Okay. We're having real fun here. There. It is called a quick clip, as we turn it the
There you
wrong.
go, right there.
Here we go. And if we go this way, you see the whole thing, but there's the little grooves on here and you can get a good grip on that. And then you are just able to put that underneath the pin part with those little grippy things will grip it and you can close it with that and you don't have to use your fingers.
I
And
think another major complication I have is the fact that I'm so used to just using like the straight pins for pinning my quilts. I'm not used to using safety pins. So
yeah, and seeing
especially the curved ones, so I'm like completely new tool for me to learn.
the straight ones would be even harder though to close because they don't have the curved part to come up. That's
True.
why it's curved, so it will come up through. And I know you were also concerned about the that you had it laying on top of your desk. So yeah, and best arrangements, you would have it on a surface that you're not worried about the pins going through, which would help also.
Yeah, I did
But
see that somebody had asked about the pins. So this is the pins right here that we were referring to.
those are the smaller ones. They just looked bigger on your quilt.
Yeah, they're about the size of going from the tip of my finger to almost my first knuckle
Do you
or my middle knuckle,
do you
whatever.
have something to measure it with down there?
Yep, it is.
Should be about 1 inch.
These are 1.5.
Okay, so they are a little bit bigger. Yep, they're the bigger ones. The 1 inch are the ones that you want, which are this. Yeah, you can't see that. This size.
Okay.
Lay it under here. There you go.
Hey,
That.
Tammy, Siberian Wind.
And I think I saw some comments. Good evening. Hello. Lisa from Awkward Quilter is here. Can't stay because it's supper time. We'll watch the replay. Well, thank you for popping in to say hello, Lisa. And were you using curved quilting pins? Yes, we were using curved ones, always curved ones. She just had the larger of the size instead of the smaller ones because I ordered them and I couldn't tell what size they were. My mistake on that. But and Melody is here. And you already said hello to Cyberwind, which is Tammy,
Yep.
I believe.
Hey, Mama Debbie.
And Sister Debbie is here. Hello, hello. And Agnes is here. Welcome, Agnes.
Hi, Agnes.
And that is everyone. Okay, so there was, a little bit, and that always seems to be everyone's issue. It just takes getting used to them and everything. Just make sure when you take them out of your quilt and you put them away, don't close them.
Don't close
Them
them.
open. Yeah, leave them open because then you
Oh,
just have to spend time opening every one of them again. You just shake them out on your quilt top open and they're ready to go.
oh, I closed all of mine because figured I didn't want to poke myself when I go to grab one.
Okay. Well,
I could just see that being another needle to go underneath my fingernails, which is where they always wind up is under my
well,
fingernails.
if you keep them in something like this, you only use them for when you are basting. Save those
Yep.
just for when you are
I got
basting your.
my zipper
Yeah,
bot that one way I ordered 2 packs of zippers at a
and just
time, and I keep all of my hand quilting stuff in there.
yeah. My suggestion is not to use those pins for anything else but basting a quilt. Then you won't be sticking your hand in there to get them for something else.
Yeah, this here I actually set up as like a kit just for doing my hand quilting only.
Okay. Very good. And Mona is here. Welcome, welcome, Mona.
Hey,
Okay.
Mona.
So on the layering of it, not having, the big enough surface, we were working in a small area because of being live. So the taping it down didn't have the full area to be able to
Yeah.
do. But other than the safety pins, did you have any other comments or issues?
The only other issue I had is before I marked my top layer, I have folded it into quarters so that way there I can mark it. So that way, because I'm like, okay, if I fold it in quarters and press it with the iron, that way there to press a crease in there, I'll know exactly where my center is. Well, I didn't pay close enough attention, and my middle had all bunched up really badly. So
Right.
that's been stuck as a bunched up area in my quilt top. So
Which the way to, and had we not been rushed in the way that we did it, it's okay to press that to find your center and mark it. But then before you layered it, you could have pressed that out. So it would have been
yeah,
flat, as long as you weren't using the blue washout marker, because that would have set it as permanent. You just have to keep that in mind. Don't use one that when you press it, then it's going to set it as a permanent mark in your quilt instead. But, or one that's going to disappear when with heat, like one of
that
those.
is true.
Yeah, that would be the issue on that. But yeah, or you could just fold it, mark it with the pins on the corners of where the centers are going to be instead. That would take care of that issue, and you wouldn't have to worry about
Yep.
it. But or yeah, have it done beforehand.
Or just wing it.
Yeah. So that was the marking and the layering. So that was all done on session number 1 of the mini series. So then last week was the actual hand quilting itself. I just showed the quick clip, Tammy. Yep, and here we go again. We just discussed that and showed that. So yes, was showing that and how that will come in handy for the safety pins. But thank you very much. And so couldn't find that the night of that because it was hiding in the drawer that it was supposed to be in, but I have it now. So we just went over that. But
Mama,
thank
it just wanted to play peekaboo.
yeah, it was hiding very well because I looked in the drawer more than once. But anyway, I think Danielle knows how I found it, but
Uh-huh.
but anyway, okay. So then we went on to the actual hand quilting itself and learning the rocking stitch. And I know that we had a couple severely bent needles. Which was, I mean, when you said you bent your needle, it's very common for a needle to bend. But when I said, let me see what you're doing, and you said, okay, example number 1, example number 2, and they were really bent. I went, oh my.
Go big or go home.
So that added a little laughter and amusement to the situation. But it was like, okay, show me what you are doing. Let me watch exactly what you are doing. And that is when we realized the importance of, in hand quilting, you do not have it tight in your hoop. And when you say to loosen it, that means, yes, to loosen. When I say it's like, a cat got up on there, you left it sitting, and a cat got up and took a nap. It's going to,
Yeah,
you're going
a
to have that
full
little
grown
part
cat,
that
not a
shows where the
kitten.
cat laid. That's how you want it to be loose. I mean, tight, so that it doesn't move in the hoop and everything has been smoothed out. So, you're not going to end up with any, little wrinkles or pleats or anything in it. But you want to push down so that you're able to move that fabric up and down in that hoop, because otherwise you're not going to be able to rock that needle. And yeah, it's if you keep trying to force it, it won't go. So yes, it's going to bend. But so we did take care of that situation on it. But other than that, once you got going, what were your feelings on that, Danielle?
Once I got going and we got the bent needle issue resolved, I'm totally in love with it and everything. The going around the curves were a little bit on the tricky side to figure out the maneuvering without overstressing the needle too much.
Mm-hmm.
But then I learned that if I just do like 1 or 2 stitches right there at first until I get a better hang of it, then I am more comfortable with that. Takes a
Right.
little bit longer, but I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
So
which
until
is
I get the
exactly
habit of it.
Yeah, which is exactly what you do when you get to curves. You don't load as many stitches on the needle. You only do 1 or 2, depending on, how much of a curve there is. And always making sure to be working on the outside of the curve, not going on the inside part because that will
Yeah,
that
I learned
always.
that the one the hard way.
But
I figured that out with the heart.
and did your finger underneath get used to it the more that you went, or
Yeah, and then whenever my finger would get a little sore and everything and all, then I'm like, okay, I'm like time to take a breather and relax. Get those puncture wounds time to heal up a little bit before I give it some new ones.
yep, yep. And that's like I say, which yeah, mine look pretty bad right now because as you can tell, I mean, I did complete mine, so I've done quite a bit of hand
Yeah,
quilting for
binding
about
and all.
days. Yeah, it's even got the it's even well, I don't know why I keep picking it up. Here, let's real quickly just spotlight so you can see that then we won't have to do it again. But there it is completed. And I've got the words going across it, but I can't get it totally in the view, but I do have the binding on. Um, this is the crosshatch that we did. And then this is my heart. And we just had something fall over there that got my attention. But I chose to do some cross hatching in the middle of that heart so it wouldn't be all just echo quilting going around, distracting from it. And we'll lift that up a little closer so you can see that the echo quilting also going around there, which is what Danielle is doing. And then we had the curves down in this section. And I know you can't tell on this, but this cross hatching was done in a lavender thread, the one direction, and then, which was that direction is the lavender, and then a deeper purple thread going the other way. So it gave it some dimension. And then on the heart, we have a dark pink on the cross hatching in the middle. And this is actually a light pink that is going around it. The purple was done in honor of Danielle. That is her favorite color. So that's why that was done. The turquoise,
Aw.
this one is one of my favorite colors. It's my signature color. It's not my favorite color, but it's my signature color. So the turquoise was done on this. And then my rose, that is the stencil one, was done in a yellow for the rose, which that's my favorite color rose and my favorite flower. And then the leaves were done in a green. So that shows how you can use color, you know, also in your hand quilting. And now I will remove the spotlight from that and bring us all back. But so that is how that was done and just completed with a quick little binding, no border or anything, because it's just a little sampler. And Danielle will be finishing hers in any way that she decides to do it. It makes a cute little pillow also, but whatever you decide. But what other comments did you have on the actual hand quilting part?
Um, Not really too much is quite yet. I'm still working on my top two squares of the
Hmm.
crosshatch and the heart, so I haven't gotten into the bottom portion yet. One question I do have though
Yes.
is because when I get ready to move, like up on here of mine, I'm doing my crosshatch and I got it down towards like I'm up here. But once I get ready to move up the hoop, how do I go about securing it to where I can get this top portion, but with still having the
Okay,
fabric all
now that
secured?
you show me that, that's what I was having, and I couldn't see the view. You should have started at the top on
Oh,
that. You should have hooped it so you that first square was in the center of your hoop, not the center of all four.
oops.
Because then you would have, when I was trying to explain, the X going across and across, I kept trying to figure out why I wasn't seeing that on yours. And that explained
It's
it. It's
because
because you didn't have that square in the center of your hoop.
well, you told me to put the hoop on the center, so I put it on the center.
But yeah, I guess I meant the center of the square that we were doing, but that's all right. But that's why that was looking odd to me, but I couldn't figure out why because I couldn't see it well enough. So yeah. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and move so that that square itself is in the majority of your hoop.
Okay. So I'm like, I couldn't figure out. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? How do I go about doing this?
Because it looked like when you were showing that you had gone that it was going across. I don't know, but yeah. So that explains that. Now I see how you had that in your hoop. Okay. That's the difference between doing it online and not being there in person to actually see the whole picture of what someone is
Yeah, and it's
that
only so much that you can show on a camera. So
right. So okay. Which had we not been doing it live, some of those issues could have been, done differently too. But that's okay.
but
Now
it's
that
made
explains that.
it made for great comedy though.
Some of it, some of it. I mean,
Like the bent
now that I
needle.
see that, that is kind of that I see. Oh, okay. No wonder you couldn't figure out how to make an X across there. You didn't have the other part to make the X.
Yeah, I'm like, what do you mean making X? Where? Where am I making this X?
Oh, okay. So that explains that. I wonder if anybody in the chat is laughing. It doesn't look like it, but
Either that or they're just being polite and not showing it.
but we need to stay here. We need to welcome Letitia here. She has come in since we have been talking. So welcome to you.
Hi, Letitia.
But we aren't getting any questions from the chat. Don't be
I know
afraid,
it's actually been really
throw
quiet.
in anything and any questions that you have on what we covered in this series. But I guess okay, what am I missing? What have I not gone over on what
You had mentioned something to me the other day that you forgot to mention on our last live. Of how to go from something about traveling with a needle or something
yeah,
like that.
when which now because I'm going to try and find a bigger needle that you can see to show what you would be doing since I don't have it threaded to do that, but this is a little longer one. I can try and show what I mean by that.
Yeah, Mona said she watched Fallon hand quilt. She didn't use the hoop. She did it on a table. Yeah, I
Right,
seen that last week after our live stream.
right. She was doing the sideways stitch that I talked about a little. That is more like a running stitch than a hand quilting
Yeah,
stitch.
plus it looked like she was doing like a larger, like the
Yeah, she
large
said she commented on mine and she said she does more of a big stitch quilting
big
than
stitch. That's what I was trying to
yeah.
think of.
Yeah. So, yeah, and there are a lot of people that do not use a hoop, and I did mention that on that night. It was Jim that had asked, if I always don't use a hoop, and that is totally a preference. There's a lot of people. You want some laughs? Here you go.
Thank you, Teresa.
You're funny. Yeah. So that all comes down to preference. There are a lot of people that use a hoop, a lot of people that don't use a hoop. There are a lot of people that only quilt on a frame and and ones that use a hoop in their lap. That all comes down to preference. I do all three. It depends upon what I'm working on. But but I always do a rocking stitch no matter what method that I am using, though, unless I am deliberately doing a quilt in big stitch, then that's a totally different story. But to
Praise
try,
her.
I'm going
Auntie
to
Mona
try and
says
show you
hi.
real quickly. Hi birdies. Okay, I'm going to spotlight this so I can try and
Okay.
wrong thing. Oh yeah, right thing. So that I can get a little closer. Oh, my lap app's way over there. But if you were doing this crosshatch and when you come to one of the ends and you've still got quite a bit of, thread on your needle and you're not wanting to tie a knot just to be able to move over here to start say, you ended on this line that I'm on and this would be your
Uh-huh.
do. What you're going to do is you are going to take your needle with your thread on it and you are going to go underneath about as far as you can get your needle to go. You are going to bring it up, but you are not going to bring that end with the thread up. You are going to pivot and turn that. So now the eye of the needle is going towards where I want to be. And you are going to bring that, and that is where you are going to need your thimble because you don't want to push that end of that needle with your finger.
Uh-uh.
So you are going to have your thimble on and you are going to push the end of that. So the eye of the needle, see how it just popped up there?
Yeah.
the eye of the needle, which is going to be threaded, is going to come up, and then you are able to just pull that right through, and you will be ready with the thread up here, ready to start quilting down that. And you haven't
Oh,
to do a knot or anything. And that is called traveling. And when you travel like that, you never go farther than what you can turn your needle twice.
yeah,
If
I
it's
actually
farther than
did.
that, then you knot it and start where you are. But you can, and you've got a shorter needle, it's never this long. So the rule of thumb is you don't go farther than if you had to go part way and turn your needle. And then you still had a longer way to go, and you had to come through and turn it once again. That's as far as you would ever go traveling. Where you end up doing that a lot is when you are doing feather work, because there's a lot of curves. And so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so you will travel with your needle like that a lot. That's called traveling with the needle. And that's what I was talking about that I forgot to go over with you on that. Because you don't want to have to be stopping and tying all those knots and burying them. You just travel with your needle instead.
Hey, Kathy says hi. Kathy Riles. And Mona says, I have a standing one, but I haven't used it yet.
Yeah, which I will, confession time, because I did my inventory, my quilt inventory, and we won't go over all of it, but needless to say, I have 20 quilts that need to be hand quilted right now. And I do have a very large 3 rail, quilt frame, but I really don't have a spot that is convenient right now to put it up. Let's put it that way. And I do love hand quilting, and my most peaceful place to hand quilt is actually out here in the cottage. And I know that I do not want a cheap um, floor standing hoop stand. So I did order one today that is made by the Amish, and it should be here between April 8th and April 10th, I do believe. But so that will be coming, and that will be a new addition to the cottage so that I can actually have that up and work on when I am hand quilting, work on that.
Teresa Louise is here.
Yes, she is.
Hi,
Well,
Teresa.
welcome. Hello. How's the snow situation out there? And how are you? Haven't heard or seen from you in quite a while. So, yeah. And it is pouring down rain here all of a sudden. It's just like, whoa. But but yeah, so I do like a standing one. I don't like the ones with the humongous hoop on them though, because you can't reach all around that hoop anyway. but but I will be getting that as a new addition very soon to the cottage, and looking very much forward to that. It's made out of solid oak, but will be nice.
Ooh.
And it will be a permanent fixture now in that hand quilting corner there. But anyway, so is I looking at my notes here, making sure that there isn't anything you got. Yeah, I would love to find a really nice one at a garage sale, Mona, but I guess I'd have to go to a garage sale first.
Let's see. Ruth Nelson is here saying hi.
Who did you just say?
Ruth Nelson.
Oh, hello, Ruth. It's great to see you also.
And Teresa saying snow is melting, lots of rain.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, it just started a downpour here. I thought our rain was done, but I guess not. And Teresa says, hello, chat friends. Yes, yes, it is great to see you.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
Everybody was worried.
it's evening, it's not morning. So, yeah, the other ones are a little early for you, Teresa. This is a little better time for you. So,
And Jeannie Whitworth says, thank you for the education.
oh, well, you are very welcome. I hope that, there were some tips and some things that you learned along the way that were helpful. That's, if there's just one thing that helped you, that's awesome. And if you just had a good time watching and enjoying it, that's all right too. But the main thing is hoping that since Danielle really wanted to learn to hand quilt, that she did learn to hand quilt.
I did, and I really enjoy it.
Okay. And is it something that you feel that you are going to continue?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to finish this, and then I already have one project in mind that I want to do after this here is done up, or I might put this aside to work on the other one. I'm not
Or
persuaded.
like I said, use that for your warm up
Yes, that
because
would be a good idea. Use this for my warm up, do this for like 10, 15 minutes, and then jump a day and then jump over onto the other one.
right, right. Because I mean, I have been hand quilting for years. Yep, 40 years or more. And I still always start on a little something off to the side to warm the hand up before I start hand quilting on my regular quilt for the day, because as I always say, it's just the same as a piano player or a someone that sings. If they are, doing something, they always warm up with their little, whatever, I forget the scales, on the
Uh-huh.
piano, warm up,
Just like
before
I,
they start playing
just
their
like
music.
our irons, it needs to heat up first before it can
It
do
has to
work.
heat up. And your voice, you always warm it up before you go into singing that song, so and you have to do the same thing with your hands for your hand stitching, and especially your hand quilting, because those first stitches of the day will be very quick, crooked, and very inconsistent, and finding a good thimble over time is key also. You will find that you will want to try different ones, and as you go, you will find the one is the most comfortable for you, and that makes a world of difference also in your hand quilting. But don't in the beginning, just, try some different ones, find one that's comfortable on your finger, and when you realize that yes, that's something that you're going to continue doing, then you will look into the more expensive ones to invest in, but
I
never do.
actually found like a multi-pack that has a bunch of different variations of them. I think it's like 13 different ones on Amazon for like
Hmm,
$9 or something like that. So I'm gonna order that when I get paid this week. So that way there I can try out a few different ones, see which ones I like, what
yep,
works best for me, and then take it from there.
yeah. Danielle, how are things going at the salon?
It was actually not a salon, it was a craft store, turns out. A lady that likes to do tumblers as well as some other different crafts had opened up her own store about 20 to 25 minutes north of me, and I wound up being one of her first vendors. She's got a couple other vendors in there. And so far it's a little slow just because it had just opened at the beginning of March. But she's starting out some classes and some really good eventful days and everything for everyone in the family. So that way there, hopefully we can start getting some business coming through. But she already gave me some custom orders, so it's going good
Exciting
for me.
times. Yeah, it'll grow. It'll get there.
Oh yeah.
And Tracy says that she did pick up some really good tips. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Tracy. And Teresa says, Jean, how did you have time to quilt while in the
While in the
service?
service.
Well, I started quilting after I got out of the service. I'm old. So no, I did not I was not quilting when I was in the service. I was sewing. I actually sewed custom clothes for some of the officers' wives would come to me. I had a sewing machine in the barracks and I made clothes for them while I was in the service. So I did sew while I was in the service. But
Oh, that would be funny, seeing a sewing machine sitting there in the middle of the barracks.
well, we had separate rooms. I mean, it wasn't, but but yeah. I guess I was a little nerdy. I don't know.
Well, if any of the soldiers got a hole in their uniforms, you could easily patch it.
Oh, no, no, no. I didn't do that. No, no. No, you didn't patch your uniforms that way. Yeah, that wasn't allowed.
Oh, okay.
So, and Jim says, can you suggest some good brands for the hoop. The hoop that I got, both Danielle, and I actually got Debbie, my sister Debbie from in Quilt Effect, is the and I always say it wrong. I want to say JP Edmonds, that's JP Morgan. It's Frank A. Edmonds are the hoop. I get those two mixed up for some reason. I don't know why. But the 14-inch hoop that they have that you can tell is the thicker and the better one, and you can tell by the price. It's not the cheaper one. It's more, I think it was around the $30-40 range, but that is a good hoop to start with. It is a sturdy hoop, and it is a good, all of their hoops are good, but some of them are a little on the thinner side, good for embroidery. They will call it a quilt embroidery one, but the thicker ones, the 14-inch, it's like it's either 31 or around 40. I think it is on Amazon. And
It's
that's
actually on there for, you said the Frank A. Edmonds 14-inch, right?
right. There's more than one 14-inch. There's a cheaper one and a more costly one.
Yeah, there's one here for 25.48
Nope,
on
that's not
Amazon
it.
right now.
That's not it. There's another one that's 31 or 40. That is a 14-inch.
Yep, here's one for 31.78.
Yep, that's it. That's the one.
Okie dokie.
And
I'm
I
going
will
to put
put
this.
after this live is over, I can put a link for that in the description box. I
Okie
will
dokie.
the one that I got. But that is a very good hoop. The other ones that are really hard to find, I don't even know if they make them anymore, but they used to be called Quilter's Resource. And those I have not been able to find anymore. So when I need them anymore, it is the Frank A. Edmund
Edmonds.
that I go with. You are welcome, Jim. And I know it seems I guess it all depends upon the person. That seems a little expensive for a hoop, but it's really not, because it
It's
will
super heavy
last.
duty.
It will be a hoop that lasts you. It's not going to be one that because you got a cheaper one, it doesn't last and it really doesn't support the quilt and everything like you want it to. So, but that would always be my recommendation for a hoop. And of course, I did show in one of my, and I will show again, which I will pick mine. Pick mine. I have a custom made lap hoop that was made by one of my friend's husbands. So this, you cannot purchase this. He's no longer living. But the hoop is, he has to order, which this is the Quilter's Resource, the hoop on this one. But you want to measure by bending your arm and putting it at the end where you bend your arm, and you don't want to hoop any bigger than that your fingertips are going to hit the end of it, because you can't reach farther than that to quilt anyway. So a hoop any bigger than that, you're wasting the area in it because you can't reach that far anyway. So that's how you measure for it. And for most people, that's going to be between a 12 and a 16-inch hoop. So a 14 is a great one to go with.
Hey, so Terry.
So I hope that helped you also in choosing the size for that. And Debbie says, thank you for my hoop. You are so welcome. You are so welcome. Anybody that really shows an interest in hand quilting, I love helping, because I just love hand quilting and get excited over other people that are starting out and wanting to hand quilt also. So always willing to help any way in that I can. But okay, so are there any other questions?
Not from me.
Not from you. I don't have any either, except, yeah, who was it the other night? Okay, somebody asked, and I think he's here. If I saw your name, I would remember it. Somebody asked how long it took to finish a quilt.
Somebody did ask
So,
that the other night, and then I
well,
also asked you that yesterday and got the same answer.
yeah, you made the mistake of asking that on
Yeah,
something else, and I said, well, I'm going to give you that answer until it's finished. But as you can see on this little one, it took me uh, about 2 evenings on that one. So, but I'm just working on that and nothing else. So, Well, you still can't reach the other part of the hoop. If you turn it around, you're still only going to, reach the part that's in the hoop, Mona. So turning the hoop around isn't going to get you any farther on it because it's not in the hoop. But yeah, you can, and I mean, it all depends, Mona. But yeah, they're clumsy. You can't hold on to it unless it's on a stand. Trying to hold one bigger than that in your lap that your arm's not going to reach. Yeah, it's just very clumsy and hard to quilt that way is the best way to answer that. But
Yeah, I'm still
yeah,
trying.
she said thanks. Yeah, talking back and forth there.
Yep.
Gotcha.
I'm still working on getting used to holding on to it because I'm not used to holding that big of a hoop and everything.
That's where when you're
So
still young and can put your legs up and whatever,
that's what I've been
support it a
doing on
lot
the,
with your
I've been
with
putting
your
the
knees and your
recliner up
legs.
and then, yeah, because when I'm sitting in the front room, I've been putting the recliner out and then
Yep.
angling my legs so that way there I can rest it on that and then comfortably be able to manipulate the needle and all.
Right. And then
Hey,
what
Laura Lynn.
I couldn't hear what you said. Laura
Oh,
Lynn, did you say Laura Lynn?
yep. Laura
Yep.
Lynn from
Okay.
Mom and Pop
Mom
Quilt
and
Shop
Pop.
just came
Yep.
in.
I thought that's what you said. I saw them pop in the same time as you, but it was like I couldn't hear because I was talking when you said it. But welcome, welcome. Great to see you. And the other suggestion on the next step to go when you find, okay, that you really do enjoy hand quilting and you're going to be working on some larger quilts. And I mean, from lap size on up. I mean, bigger items and doing quite a bit of it is the Q snap frame is very affordable.
Okay.
And that you can move your chair all the way around all four sides of that even to work
Ooh.
and work on it. But that is the next alternative that is not an expensive investment to make
Okay.
on
That's
getting a
that.
frame that is bigger that you can actually use.
Okay. Time to move the guys out to the garage.
Those will actually fit, at a chair in the living room. They
Okay.
don't
Time to
they
move the
don't
guys
take up
out
a
to the
lot.
garage.
Okay. They don't take up a lot of room and they are portable. You could move it, back and forth according to where you want it. Just don't put it in a spot where your husband's going to open up a can of pop that got shook up and it squirts all over it and he thinks he cleaned it up and doesn't tell you about it. That's another story, but
Ooh.
okay. Been lurking a little bit. Great tips. Thank you, Laura Lynn. Appreciate it. But so I think, and it's getting close on the hour, which we figured that this one would just be a wrap up and a little shorter just to go over any questions or comments that anybody may have had to see how Danielle felt about the whole learning situation and how, I
Totally
think
loving it.
so. And of course, Danielle and I talk every day. I will be following up with her constantly on it's like, okay,
Yes.
show me what you got done. No, but and Andrea says that is where I have mine. I took over the living room. LOL. My sewing machine is in there too. Okay, well, that works, I guess. Whatever you can get by with, Andrea. Which my hand quilting frame, which is big as, a long arm, because it is a 3 rail one. In fact, it's named Big Bertha, does sit at the one end of our living room when I put it up, but it is large and it is kind of in the way. So that's why I decided that I'm going to get the round one for out here instead. And it will be bigger than a 14 or 16, but it's not going to be one of those great big humongous ones. And so it will fit in my little hand stitching corner there. And I will be able to move it off to the side if I need to for any reason. But anyway, so if you don't have any more questions or comments, Danielle,
No,
it's
I'm
been,
all good.
I'm glad to hear that you're good, but
So
we'll,
I do got one question though. I
yes.
would like to update my little box because this in here is starting to get a little cramped and hard to get stuff out of. What is a good sewing case would you recommend? if I was using it just for hand quilting stuff.
Honestly,
Yes.
um, oh, what I would, what I think is cute anyway, is, the little round tins that they call the button tins that the shortbread cookies come in.
Yeah.
To get one of those or something similar to that, that works really
I
well.
got one of my grandmother's downstairs.
That is what I would use to put it in to start off with.
Okay. Yeah, because I have my grandmother's sewing cabinet. And so, and she had one of those shortbread cookie tins that she used for her buttons, but I already used up her buttons.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I mean, I have several little things because I have more than one because I'm always working on more than one thing, but those are the tins and things like that are what I love and enjoy and use the most. So, which
Okay.
I'm going to grab the one that's over here that my sister happened to find that
Yeah,
holds
Laura Lynn, this was the
stuff
whole,
when I'm not.
that's pretty much the whole reason why I wanted to learn this, because I'm like, I want to know how to hand quilt. I love the technique and I love the creative and artistry behind it.
Yeah, it means a lot. And Jim says he looks forward to giving this a try. But you see this little tin?
Oh, that is so
Little things that you can come
cute.
across and find like that, which this my sister actually got for me. And it has all my, yeah, when I open it, you can't even see, but I mean, but it is what holds everything that I'm not using at the moment that has anything to do with hand quilting in it. But but that
Oh
one
my
sits,
God, that is beautiful.
but and that's why I mean the tin ones, if you're another one that I use, and they're always cute to display, too, when you're not. But see, this was one of the ones that got candy in one year, the Whitman sampler.
Uh-huh.
Anything like that works really great for a little hand quilting kit. So,
Okay.
and the ones that I know that you can still get are the shortbread cookie ones. So,
Yeah.
but that is what I would use, and then you always know that's where everything is, and they hold more than what you think they will hold to. So,
Oh, I believe it.
and of course, when you use, the little scissors like this, they really don't take up much room in one. So those I collect those. Any place I go, they have the little scissors. I come home with
Yeah, I
several.
can't tell you how many pairs of those little scissors I have laying all over my sewing room and my hand sewing area on the front room. And I even got a hand sewing section at my work desk down below whenever I'm waiting on hold. I'm fiddling with something because I've
Now
got to keep my hands busy.
the other thing that I would say if you can't find any of those is, the old, sewing basket, but where
Yeah, I'm
oh
like,
wait,
I've seen like some of the sewing baskets that like Joann's or other places sell. And I'm like, I really don't want that. I want
yeah,
something
yeah. I don't like those
cute and
either.
unique.
But see, this is the last resort. These come in really handy, but
Yeah, like a little a girl's sewing room tackle box.
yeah, these you find at Walmart in the sewing section, but that I would say if you can't, that works well. But I use that more for slow stitching because it holds a lot of beads and stuff and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I have an antique one back there on the shelf, but I'm not going to go get it.
Oh no.
It's an actual wicker box one, but old, 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 old. But, okay, so I think that does it then. Me too. Okay, Jim said he looks forward to giving this a try. Laura Lynn says, me too. I have a project I would like to hand stitch up in the classic way. And then she says, it's the rocking back and forth. Yes. And, just sit in your rocking chair as you're doing it. It reminds you, get that movement going together. But yeah, and I don't know if what you thought about using the actual rocking chair motion to explain how you do the rocking stitch. Did you notice when I said, just said you rock,
Uh-huh.
the needle goes back, bring the chair forward, you bring the needle forward, and that's, you
And
can
see,
get that,
I
that
don't know if
motion
I'm that
going together.
coordinated. For
But
me, it's in there doing it and with my tongue sticking out going,
and for all of you that, are going to give it a try, remember it does take practice, it does take time, but it gets more comfortable after you do it for a while, and then it's just like you don't even have to think about it. It is very relaxing, very therapeutic, and yeah, just
and make
like
sure,
those that say they're one with nature. It's like being one with the needle.
and make sure you got plenty of leverage
Yeah, make
for the
sure it's
rocking
not tight
stitch.
in the hoop. Yeah, you want to be able to bring that fabric up and
If you're
down.
bending a needle, it's not loose enough. You need a fat cat to sit on top.
Or you can bend a needle also because you're trying to load. I mean, I have a tendency to overload my needle at times, I will put, nine stitches, sometimes more on it, and that has a tendency to bend your needle also because you
Yeah.
can't,
Yeah,
you
I
get,
did notice that when I stitched a little too close to the outside of the hoop
it
area,
does. It is
the
harder.
fabric gets a lot tighter there, a lot less give, and I bent it a little bit, but
Yeah.
nowhere near like I was at the
That's when
beginning.
you only want to do one or two until you get away from that part, and then and not rock it back as far. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay. So I hope that all of you that joined us did enjoy it. Thank you for following along and being with us through this 3-week series. And who knows what I may come up with next, but something exciting and educational and laughable all at the same time. Right.
Especially if I'm involved.
Yeah, especially if Danielle's involved. But hey, who knows who we may involve. But take care, everyone. Thank you for taking the time in your night to join us. And thank you, Danielle. It was a pleasure, as always, working
Oh,
with.
never a problem. And if you wanted someone else to watch, Fallon's about to go live.
Yes, she is. We will be off here in time for everybody to hop right over to Fallon. So thank you, Jean and Danielle. Have a great night, says Jim.
Same
And
to you, Jim.
thank you so much, Jean and Danielle. You are welcome, everyone. Take
Bye,
care.
Andrea. Bye, everybody.
Have a great last half of the week. For some reason, I thought it was Monday today. Yeah, right, Mona?
Do not push rewind. No, no rewind, Mama.
No, 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 no. Don't worry. But
If I had to
I
do Monday again, I'd not get out of the bed.
I will see you Friday morning, God willing, and the creek don't rise, as they say. And take care. And remember, once again, in the meantime, I can keep you in stitches. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.